my name is Laura Dean, and I did my found art project on an old window that I found my neighbor was throwing out. I'm making my video outside because my husband is sleeping because of our varying work hours and odd schedules. Usually either my son or my husband or me were asleep at different times. So I'm making this outside, and I'm going to attach some photos of my project because it's hanging inside in my house. I was going to go in a different direction and use some seashells that I'd collected, but that fell flat, and right around that time I got some photos in the mail that during quarantine I've kind of been going through and organizing and ordering because I like to keep hard copies. I'm old-fashioned like that. So I got in a bunch of beautiful photos, including some from our past trip to Costa Rica. That was 2 years ago, and Tommy proposed on that trip, so it was a really special trip. And I used the antique window that I found outside of my neighbor's house I repurposed it into a picture frame, and I fixed the different photos inside of the glass, and I also used I like to save souvenirs from the trip, and so like anytime that there's like a map or something for free that's like information related, or a brochure in the area that we're exploring, I'll grab it, or like a sleeve from a coffee cup at a neat coffee shop we found, and I save those things, and I always intend to use them in a collage or make a scrapbook, and I never do, and so this was like a really cool opportunity to use some of that stuff. So I included like our boarding passes, cutouts from different maps and brochures that I had, currency that it wasn't worth a whole lot, so I didn't bother to get it exchanged before we left. So lots of neat things. I basically just decided what to make when the photos came in, and sometimes I collect old things that my neighbors are throwing out that are house related, because we all live in houses that were built in 1903. So I'm in Galveston, by the way, and so there's lots of like cool antiques and like these just really neat original windows. I feel like my project is both practical and artistic because I am using the window for another purpose. I'm using it as a picture frame, but it's also artistic because it's it's something nice to look at, and it's on my wall. It did really impact me emotionally, a lot more than I thought it would, for me to make this, because those pictures were taken adventuring and exploring, and kind of being free and a bit fearless, really, which feels kind of the opposite of the way that things are now. We're stuck inside, we're fearful, so it just kind of reminded me of a time that was really exciting and beautiful, and I guess it kind of got me reconnected with that side of myself, because I have been super nervous with all the virus stuff going on. I can't say that I really related a whole lot to the women of G's Bend. They were creating their quilts out of like a much more genuine necessity. I did feel creative, I did feel expressive, but to equate their struggle to what we're going through now, I think, you know, they had it so much tougher, so much harder, and so although it was a creative expression, it was still not, it still doesn't hold a candle to everything that they were going through. I do think that there are some connections that can be made because they were going through hard times, we're going through hard times. You know, the future of my work is really uncertain. We've both been lucky to, you know, maintain our income somewhat. I say we're operating at, you know, about 50%, which is a lot better than a lot of people can say, so we feel very fortunate. It surprised, the process surprised me because of how emotional I got and how kind of therapeutic it was, to remind myself of, you know, I am the girl in those photos. So that was really surprising. As far as the sustainability piece, I think that, you know, there's lots of things that we throw out that can be repurposed, and you know, so I think that I'd like to do that a little bit more when I can. I don't know, I feel like I've always been a fairly creative person, but I've gotten away from it lately. I'm a scientist, so we operate within, you know, things that are quantitative, results, statistics, things that you can prove. So being a little bit more, you know, free-flowing and creative was fun for me. As far as what the project taught me about, you know, my family, home, community, you know, I think more than anything, it just reminded me that we are super social, and that, you know, humans don't particularly like to be confined, and so, you know, this is the opposite of our nature. You know, we don't want to just hide away inside and, you know, never interact with anyone ever again. So I think as much as possible we should be doing things to, you know, reconnect with ourselves, our passions, with each other, what we're all about.